My hair is a meadow! Yay! I redyed it. Okay, so hi, I'm Matt, and this is my nerdy girlfriend. So today I have a confession. Well, as you may have guessed from the title of this video, I am a teacher's pet. I admit it, I am a terrible teacher's pet. You'll see what I mean in the course of this video. So I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube about the negative aspects of school and how annoying and how frankly scary some teachers can be, and I fully agree with that, honestly. There are some crazy people out there. But, I'm a person who generally enjoys school and enjoys learning. Not every part of school, obviously, but I do enjoy learning, and I do enjoy classroom atmospheres, and yes, I have always been and still am to this day a teacher's pet. I mean, some teachers are just really cool, and I really do respect them as people, and I respect what they know and what they teach us, and that also makes me respect their authority, of course. And yeah, there are a lot of advantages to being a teacher's pet. I mean, if teachers know you and like you, there are lots of cool things. For example, during roll call, I never have to raise my hand or anything. Well, that may also have something to do with the green hair, but they always know I'm here. They're always like, oh yeah, Ronnie is here. And that feels really good. They also greet you in the hallway, which kind of makes you feel important, even though they probably also greet people whose names they don't know. But hey, if you need more time on an assignment, and they know you work hard usually, then, no problem. You'll just explain to them, sorry, I'm taking too many classes, and they're like, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Because they know you work hard. What else? Right, there's lots of discussions in class usually, at least at university, and it's so much more casual when you know the teacher at least a little bit, when you know that they know that when you have something to say, it's you do have something to say, and it makes me feel a little more confident. But actually, it was a funny thing recently, because I talk a lot during class. I talk a lot in general, and recently, we were talking about a few short stories in one of my seminars, and for the third one I just didn't have anything else to say, everybody had already said a lot of stuff, I didn't have anything else to add there, and my teacher actually looked at me and was like, do you want to say something? I was like, no, I'm fine, thank you. And that was, it was really cute. Also, presentations. You're so much more confident when you know that the teacher, when you know the teacher, and they like you, and they know you do a lot of work, it's so much more helpful. If you just have to stare at a teacher's face who you don't know at all, and who doesn't know you at all, you're just sweating nervously the whole time, because you can't tell from their face. You usually can't tell from their faces. Yeah. Also, I think my favorite thing about being a teacher's pet is that you get A+ life advice whenever you want it. Honestly. But I'm gonna get to that. I think mostly it boils down to the fact that I constantly need validation, and that's a good way to get it. So yeah, if you need validation, that's how you do it. That helps. How do I define teacher's pet? It's actually just that, I go out of my way to really be noticed in class, more or less. I try to do very good work. And when I see teachers, I also try to be very friendly with them. I sometimes go up to them after class if I need something. I sometimes talk to them personally about it. And I think that's the whole secret, basically. Because I'm not trying to become best friends with my teachers, because that doesn't work most of the time, and it would be slightly weird. But it's always helpful to establish at least some kind of face-to-face relation there, because yeah, as I said, creates a friendlier atmosphere, plus confidence, plus life advice, everything. But yeah, that also results in some funny stories. And I think my favorite stories are from my favorite lecturer currently, here in Faith. I'm not taking any classes with him this semester, but the last 2 semesters. Let's just call him Mr. Smith for this video. Not naming any names here. But yeah, there were a few funny situations with him, and I fondly recall all of them. Well, he's pretty casual, and like from the first session on, he knew I was outspoken. I would say something and I would like also argue things if I didn't think they were correct, which I think he finds amusing, but also to a certain point respects. So that's pretty cool. He's a very funny teacher, he's very chill, and yeah, few funny situations. One situation was that during class we got into a 10-minute long argument about whether something was to be classified a determiner or an adjective. And I was convinced that was a determiner. Like, I'm not gonna bore you with linguistic details or something. Not that linguistics are boring, they're amazing, but yeah, you know, for another video. And we argued about this, but he didn't have any arguments. He was just like, well, it's an adjective. So after 10 minutes, he was like, okay, you know what? I'm not having such a great day right now. I'll send you an email after class explaining to you why it is an adjective. So he was going to send this to the whole class, of course. And 2 days later, we got an email, and the email said, well, it could be classified as a determiner, but in this case, it's an adjective. And that was it. And you know, yeah, I think that was pretty funny. But that's just his style, you know. One time I actually emailed him about the homework because I did not know anybody in the class, so I couldn't ask anybody else. So I emailed him on Friday, and we had class on Monday. And I was like, sorry, I couldn't get a hold of anybody else. Could you tell me what the homework was? And chill as usual, he replied to me on Monday, 2 hours before the seminar would start. Hi, Rania. I was away for the weekend, and you know what? Just don't worry too much about the homework. I'm just gonna let that sit for a second, because yeah, that's the kind of person I am. I'm being told by teachers not to worry about my homework. This is not like a singular event either. I'm sorry. I'm like outing myself as like the worst person right now. Like the person you don't want to be friends with at uni. But you know, that's why there are teachers. For me to be friends with, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. Another wonderful story. Another thing was that a few friends of mine and me, we participated in the pub quiz of the English department, and we called ourselves Mr. Smith's Minions. Well, we called ourselves his actual name, Minions, but you know. And it was really great. He actually just came to the pub quiz because he knew there would be a team called that. And when he saw us, he knew 2 of us. He was like, of course it's you guys. And but it was actually really fun, and then we had some drinks together. And the funnest part of having drinks with teachers is they tell you some shit about other teachers. That was always my favorite in school, because when you were friends with teachers, they would tell you shit about other teachers. For example, my music teacher back in school, he told us that our math teacher was actually a commander on a Star Trek fan site. Like, that was his title or something on that fan site. So that was pretty good material, you can imagine, for 10th graders. But yeah, back to Mr. Smith. My recent story, also my favorite one, I couldn't actually believe it when that happened, was when he came up to me. Like, usually we see each other on Tuesdays, because I have class when he's outside having a smoke, so I'm just, you know, I got a few minutes usually, and so we talk for a few minutes generally. And like a few weeks ago, he waved me over and he was like, hey, do you have any friends with green hair? And I was like, no, I'm the only one with green hair. So he tells me that him and a few of the other people from the department were at a bar the night before, and they saw a girl with like blue-greenish hair, who apparently also had big glasses and a muffin tattoo or something, and that they were wondering for like 20 minutes whether it was me or not. which I think is pretty funny. At some point she turned around and they realized it wasn't me. But apparently, yeah, that, I don't know, kept them wondering for some reason. And yeah, I don't have any other friends with green hair, which I'm glad about because I would have to fight them. And I don't like that. Yeah, but anyway, this was not the end of the story, because a week later, one of the teachers that I have at the moment, like one of my current lecturers, comes up to me in the hallway and is like, Rania, did you know you had a doppelganger? Doppelganger. What the fuck? How do you pronounce that? And I was like, actually, yes. Mr. Smith told me. So he tells me the story again and describes her in more detail. Apparently there was blue hair, not green, so not quite the same, but you know. And yeah, he apparently also thought it was a very funny instance. So that was also pretty great. You know, they're adults that to a certain part you can look up to. They're to a certain degree responsible for you for a while. Not just for your education, but also just for your growth, especially in school. And I think it's just great to have these people who like see you grow to a certain degree, who you can talk to, who aren't your parents either, you know, and who can tell you more specifically about like things like school and education and, you know, just give you more specific life advice than maybe your parents would be able to. For example, I just recently met my old English and German teacher in the grocery store, and it was so sweet because you could really see how excited she was to see one of her old students, you know, just grow up and do something with their lives. And I can totally imagine like what a great feeling that's gotta be. I mean, I'm gonna be a teacher, and that's not, I mean, yeah, I'm making a video about how great I think teachers are, but that's not the reason, I promise. But I can just imagine that because I already had like an internship where I taught a few 8th graders, for, a class of 8th graders for like 2 weeks, and it was already the most amazing feeling to like see that they really learned something. I mean, I can't even describe it. And I think it's so beautiful to actually see your teachers be so proud of you, because of course your parents are proud of you, but there are also, you know, just other people who see you grow and who see you succeed to a certain degree and who see you just, I think it's great. And I think it makes you feel really good. And like the most important event for me in this case was, I think, after I got back from Hamburg, the first time I tried to study, and it just didn't work out because I didn't want to stay there in the city. I didn't really like the uni, everything. And I felt like such a failure going home after a month and now having a year of not knowing what to do, you know. And I met my old music teacher, the same who told us about the commander thing. I met him in a grocery store, and he asked me about what I was doing with my life and what was going on, and I was kind of like, yeah, well, I don't actually know at the moment. And he was just like, you know what, doesn't matter. Until you're 30, you can do whatever you want, you know, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And it was so comforting to hear that from somebody who was like an educator, who was actually supposed to like drill this into me, like get an education, do things with your life, you know, study, things like that. And I think being friends with teachers kind of has that effect a lot of the time, if they're great teachers, you know. So all in all, the life of a teacher's pet is pretty good. I mean, not to a point you shouldn't be annoying about it, TBH. Like, just don't expect special treatment, because that's not what's gonna happen. Well, not real special treatment. I mean, no. That's not cool. And teachers shouldn't do that, and lecturers aren't allowed to do that. It's just this little thing, you know, this little knowing that they're a person too. That they're a person that you can make proud with what you learn and what you do, you know? And yeah, I think that's great. I think it's great to remember that they're people. And people are always interesting in one way or another. So that is my super philosophical conclusion to this video. That was actually started out as like just some funny anecdotes about teachers. But yeah, honestly the best thing, just be friends with teachers because they're gonna tell you shit about other teachers. I think that's the best part about it. All the rumors. You wouldn't believe it. But yeah, I'm gonna find out firsthand. One in a few years, I guess. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe you could like leave a comment. Are you a teacher's pet? Are you more of a quiet person at school? You're more of the class clown? What are you? And what do you think about teachers? Did you have terrible teachers? Did you have awesome teachers? I'm gonna make a video at some point about all the crazy stories I have of some of my teachers. But yeah, either way, I hope you have a great weekend or great week. It's Monday. I need to get my life in order. I hope you have a great evening or a day or whatever, wherever you are, whenever you watch this. And yes, I will see you soon. Bye bye.